Now, more than 40 years after the miners' strike, the Home Secretary has announced a national inquiry into the violent confrontation at Orgreave.
You'll remember the summer of 1984. Police officers and protesters clashing outside the coking plant in South Yorkshire, leaving more than 120 people injured. Yunus Muller reports.
A defining moment in the year-long miners' strike. A violent confrontation that became known as the Battle of Orgreave. More than 4 decades on, there remain questions unanswered over what happened and why. On a visit to South Yorkshire, the Home Secretary Yvette Cooper confirmed the government will commit to a long-standing pledge to hold an inquiry into one of the most violent clashes in British industrial history.
It will be able to look at all of the issues, the unanswered questions, to be able to get to the truth, both about the issues around the violent injuries, the clashes that took place actually that day, but also about what happened then afterwards. The fact we obviously had the prosecutions and then the discredited evidence as well. So many unanswered questions. Really, people shouldn't have had to wait for 41 years.
Striking miners from across the country descended on the coking plant to disrupt fuel deliveries to steelworks in Scunthorpe, but were met by thousands of police officers. 120 picketers and officers were injured, 95 men were prosecuted. Their trials collapsed amid accusations the South Yorkshire Police falsified evidence.
People have still been maligned 41 years later. You know, they need to have that record put straight. You know, this has affected people's lives really badly. And we need to make sure that they, that they get the justice that they deserve.
Northumbria Police have been criticised after 2 boxes of information about the miners' strike were disposed of last April. The force says it was in line with data protection rules. But other files held by police forces will be made available to this inquiry. In a statement, South Yorkshire Police said a small team have been reviewing and cataloguing all the material held by the force and ensuring anything released is done in line with the requirements of GDPR. This will now form part of the Orgreave inquiry.
The terms of reference will be set after the government consults with campaigners, the National Union of Mine Workers and the chair of this inquiry, the Bishop of Sheffield, the Right Reverend Dr. Pete Wilcox, who has said the aim is to uncover what happened at Orgreave as swiftly as possible.
The inquiry is expected to launch in the autumn and will throw the spotlight on the actions of police forces and the role of government. For the families of former miners, they hope this will bring an end to their wait for answers. Yunus Muller, BBC News.
Well, we're joined now on the sofa by former miner John Dunn. Morning, John.
Good morning.
41 years later,
41
an inquiry.
long, hard, lonely years at times. Yeah.
What does it mean to you in the community to have potentially answers?
Well, that's the key word, potentially. We've already seen one police force shredding important evidence. We're hoping that's not been happening over weekend. For us, it's the start. It's something we've campaigned long and hard and quite exhaustingly for a long time. And all we want is full disclosure, everything on the table. And while I'm on the BBC, can I say, I believe that the original footage of Orgreave, before it accidentally got reversed, is still somewhere in the BBC archives. We would like those, please, to expose the truth of what happened on that day. And I have to say, Orgreave were only tip of iceberg. The one that was most vividly shown on every news broadcast that day and beyond. But things like that were happening in every village, in every mining community. I was savagely beaten and concussed, got my head smashed in weeks before Orgreave, and we're just hoping that this inquiry will open the door, first of all for Orgreave, but then to exonerate the NUM and those proud people who we just wanted a job. All we wanted to do was feed our families, put food on the table and live in a stable community. That's all we wanted, and for that we were the enemy within. And, you know, it still hurts, still ranks.
40 years on, it still hurts.
It does, and there are memories that that keep resurfacing. And we've already had miners who were brutally beaten at Orgreave contact us and say they'd love their stories to be told, but they're still traumatised. They don't want to openly talk about it because they've got to relive that moment. You know, it wasn't called PTSD in those days, but that's what it is. And people are still living with that, as well as seeing shattered communities as as the ongoing consequence. So if we can get everything out in the open, and I'm hoping there'll be full disclosure, I'm hoping also that the secret files that have been embargoed till 2071 get released. I'll be 119 years old. That's a lot of healthy eating I'm going to have to do then. And hopefully there might be something that helps me clear my name in that.
Because you've talked about the mental health implications, the community implications, but there are practical implications, aren't there, for some of the people who've been caught up in this, in that it's limited their job opportunities, their travel opportunities?
Yes. And once you've got a criminal record, it's a stain. It's a stain on your character. It stays, you have to declare it for certain jobs and things like that. And too many of us have passed away in that period. They'll never see justice. My parents both passed away with me as having two criminal convictions. I don't want my descendants, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, to think, not that they will, that their granddad were a criminal. I want to die an innocent man. Yeah, I'll be honest.
How has that record affected your life?
Well, it's affected me in quite a few ways. Obviously, you have to declare it for certain jobs. I used to be a coach. After British Coal got rid of me, I had to go self-employed. I used to coach for the Sports Council. That cropped up. Imagine that. You're teaching sporting things to kids and you've got a criminal record cropping up. In 2018, I wanted to visit a friend I made in the strike who now lives in the US. I was denied a visa. I can only imagine it's because of those criminal records. And I've been trying to clear my name, and I got an astonishing reply back from Derbyshire Police and the National Police Council. There's no record of my arrest. How come I've got 2 criminal convictions if I was never arrested? I've been going round in circles for 41 years. So I'm angry, we're still angry, and let's hope that this is the start of a process that cleanses everything and exonerates us.
John, thank you for coming in this morning, speaking so passionately. We'll speak to you as we get some of those answers in the inquiry. And we'll book you for, when was it, 2090, 2071?
2071.
We'll book you for that day as well.
190,
we'll see you
yeah. Get a Zimmer frame ready.
We'll need
for
ours,
all of
that's
us,
for sure. Yeah.
Thank you, John.